Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mubarak's podcast. This is Hashmad Mubarak, your host. Today, I'm really excited, guys, to welcome Nabi Sarhadi to Mubarak's podcast. Nabi is the co-founder of Okan Pine Real Estate Group, and he previously worked as a residential real estate advisor at Royal Page. And beyond real estate, he has also involved in community service, including being a member of Service Care, which shows his commitment goes beyond business. And academically, guys, Nabi holds a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology from University of British Columbia, where I've got my admission. And also studied at UBC Sutter School of Business, and also earned a Bachelor of Business Administration from Douglas College. Nabi John, it's such a pleasure to have you tonight with us.
Thank you, Morris, for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much once again. I'm so happy and excited to have this great conversation with you. But first of all, I would like to start here. Before we get into business and real estate, I always like to begin with the person behind the titles, behind the education, success stories, or more meaningful when we understand where they started. I would like to first start from here that who is Nabi Sarhadi and where did he grow up?
Well, it's funny because you said I don't look Afghan and I look maybe from West. A lot of Afghans do say that, but I'm originally from Badakhshan, and that's where both my
Oh,
mom is from. And I was born in Pulkhumri. I was about one, and when the war basically got even worse, and so we basically my parents picked me up with my two older brothers, and we walked the borders and went straight to Pakistan. And then we settled down in Karachi for 10 years, 10 to 11 years, and then we got sponsored here by our uncles to come to Canada. And then since basically 12, I've been in Canada in 2007.
wow. John, your academic path is quite diverse, as I have read your background. Um, Sociology, business, and professional studies in British Columbia. I'm sure university is not just, about the classes, the classrooms, the books, the lectures. It shapes, the mindsets, the ambitions. Um, I would like to ask this also that how was your experience at studying at University of British Columbia, one of the top universities in the world, and how did those years shape you?
Um, to be fair with the Mubarak, maybe this I should I call you Mr. Mubarak or Hashmat? Which one?
It's up to you. No, no problem.
I like
Hashmad
Mr.
or
Mubarak.
Mubarak? Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Rivara. So like I basically I was admitted to I don't know if you know where SFU is. It's Simon Fraser University. I was admitted to that as well as UBC when I was planning to go into university and I chose deliberately to pick UBC, which is an hour and 30 minutes transit to university every day and back. So that was about 3 hours of my day.
Oh,
But I'm a person that really is inspired more by architecture. It's inspired by viewpoints, and I'm more of a visionary in terms of that sense. And so when I went to UBC campus, I was like, I don't care how far this is. I need to be here. Like I want to be here, and I want to be inspired, and I want because obviously UBC has this beautiful architecture of libraries, and I just thought to myself is like I know wherever I be, I will feel inspired. That's where I'll do the most amount of good job, and that's what I'll do the most amount of good work. So I took a lot of pride in that, even though I was bussing a lot. And at UBC, I was very involved in the UBC Real Estate Club. That was a student-led real estate club where they would talk with a lot of developers and basically inspire other students to understand what real estate is and what aspects of real estate there are. So there, I met a lot of good developers and good connections there, and I also partook in the NAOP case competition, which is a very aggressive, very demanding la final year case competition between all universities of Western. So that's including America as well. I partook in that, and I realized what it takes from taking a land that you see on the ground to turning it into numbers and what's the best use. For example, like what kind of apartment building should we put in? Doesn't make sense for a hospital? Doesn't make sense for a rental building? Doesn't make sense for residential or commercial? So we did that case competition, and a lot of that motivated me in that case. And I think the biggest lesson I learned was um, every class after class, I realized that no matter how hard something is, it's more like the hardest part is actually the start of it. So as long as you do the start and then the finish line keeps getting closer, and then that's how you get motivated to finish it. So just that's what kind of taught me to just always start the process.
Yeah, I've actually jumped from your childhood to your education, and now I would like to jump to your career. You know,
Yeah,
the reason that you have chosen the rail estate. You know, you could have taken many different career paths with your background. Real estate, I'm sure you know better than me. It's too competitive, and there must have been a reason it stood out to you. And I
yeah.
would like to ask this specifically: why real estate, Nabi John, and what drew you into this field first?
Um, it's funny, like my first take with real estate was, I'm sure you've seen this as well as a lot of these shows called Selling Sunsets, or you see agents doing their business and around, and of course it glamorizes that side of the business. But what side I really liked about real estate, even from early on, was the part of marketing, the fact that you can market something, or the fact that you can market yourself in a way. And I've always been a creative individual, and I've always entrepreneurial has been always in my blood. Like I grew up selling things in Pakistan, like candy and stuff. Then I came to
Wow.
here and I started selling bowl noodles to schools. So every opportunity that I started selling books, then laptops, then I've always had this thing about me about selling things and about doing business and finding little creative things where there's a gap in the market. And the biggest gap also I saw was like when I was looking into real estate, I said, there's such a big gap here. Because a lot of people get into it thinking it's easy, right? So, and a lot of people, especially in real estate in Greater Vancouver, is an aging population. A lot of them are a lot older.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I thought of it, I was like, oh, the perfect market gap would be if I get into real estate early on, and I know real estate takes years and years and years to build. If get into it early on and I just take the years and years and years and build, by the time I'm 30, I can say I've been in this business for over a decade, right? That was my whole goal. That's when
How old are you right now?
I'm 29.
You're 29. And
Yeah.
which year did you started the real estate, Okan Pine Real Estate Group?
So I started volunteering with real estate agents to learn what the business is at 19.
At 19. Whoa. That's
Yeah.
great, man. That's great. You know, as I have read your background, spending 7 years at Royal LePage is a significant chapter of your life. I think you've worked there around 7 and 8 years. And early career experience often teaches us the lessons and that we cannot learn in the classrooms or from the books. Uh, what was one lesson from your early years in real estate that still guides you today?
Um, I would say like yeah, I think when I got into it, the most difficult part was being so young in the field. Like being very young in the field where I would talk
You were
to
19, man.
investors. Yeah, when I was talking to investors at 22 is when I got licensed. So from 19 to then I was studying and I was obviously volunteering. And so even being at 22 and I'm sitting there and I'm like talking to a lot of these investors or talking to home buyers, it was very hard for them to take me serious. As much as I love to do my business. Um, and then I come to a realization that I said, okay, it doesn't matter if they take me serious or not. What matters is if I'm really good at my numbers, which I am. I'm really good at finding deals and stuff. So that's where my whole focus turned around to working with investors, where they see the value more than the age. They see my numbers and they see that they can make money with us, and then that's why they join us and that's why they do business with us.
That's great. Uh, I would like to also mention this, Navijan, that starting something of your own is a different level of responsibility and it requires risk for sure, vision, trust in yourself and in your team. I'm sure you have a great team around yourself. And I would like to ask specifically this, what inspired you to co-found Okan Pine Real Estate Group?
Yeah. So I believe you had a chat with Shukriya as well, my business
Yeah,
partner. So
it was a
when
great
Shukriya
conversation actually.
Yes, so when Shukra got licensed, we sat down and basically we had a chat. We said the biggest thing in business is trust and collaboration. I trust Shukriya, and the collaboration between us was she comes from a background of high-end luxury hotels, and I come from the background of where I was member services in Van City. So I come from that background, and so I had the financial literacy in that sense, in that strength, and she had this whole customer service, luxury customer service in hand as well, and then we sat down and we said, how can we actually bring this level of service and bring this level of expertise to our community, right? And from there on, then we thought, okay, maybe we should come join and form a team where it's bigger than us, bigger than just her, bigger than just myself, and that team that has a vision, and together we support communities, especially our own community, because that was the one thing that we saw that it was lacking, especially in the Vancouver community here, was like there wasn't a lot of Afghan businesses that were supporting the Afghan community or supporting the Afghan narrative or Afghan culture. So we wanted to do that, and but in order to do that, we needed to come together and then bring that knowledge together and bring the whole pool of our clients together and then just merge into it. And it's been beautiful since then, and of course we're definitely well known here in Vancouver.
Yeah. But from the outside, real estate, can look glamorous, deals,
Yeah.
properties, success stories, money, hundreds and thousands of dollars actually. But every business has its own tough moments. It has its own challenges and difficulties. I would like to ask from the challenges and the difficulties of real estate. Would you mind to tell our audience that what has been the biggest challenges that you guys face in your journey so far?
Um, I would to be honest with you, like the real estate market in Vancouver, it's always been since I got licensed 2018 to now, it's always been up and down and very challenging. I think the best run that we had by far was 2020 to 2022, and then after that, it's been a grind. It's been going down and then it's been grinding, and we've been just trying to navigate through the markets, and I think the most challenging aspect of just having a business overall, not just real estate in itself, I would say is like I personally like where I'm just sitting down and doing one thing, and I like doing that very well. That's my personality. But with real estate or with entrepreneurship, the problem with that is you have to wear like 10 other hats at the same time. Like you have to do marketing, you have to do your back ends, you have to do your books, you have to make sure your customer service is great. You want to make sure your knowledge is great. You want to make sure your investors are happy. You want to make sure your buyers are emotionally aware what comes with buying a house. So there's a lot of things to do all at once, and I think that takes time, and that takes a lot of discipline
Of
to
course.
conquer over the years. And people think it's easy, but a lot of the people that you see online, they've been doing it for decades and decades, and that's why the camera is only facing that one guy out of 100,000 people. See, so that means that one guy is pretty good at what he does, right? So when the
Yeah.
camera's facing. So that being
Right.
said, when people think that, they look at that, they're like, "Oh, I could be like that," and they come and they try and they realize it's no, it's not like that. How many people that you know buy and sell houses every day, every year? Not often, right?
Yeah.
It's very rare, or you work with investors, then you get a bit more hands-on, but that's where it's a much bigger. You have to be very well known in the community, and you have to be respected and trusted for them to come work with you, and that whole thing takes years and years to build. And a lot of people, when they come with short sight that, hey, I'm going to make money in this business, that's where they get hit because they realize money only comes when the trust is there.
Hmm. Um, I would like to now jump on your background, that your background in sociology is interesting because, real estate is ultimately about the people and the communities, as you have said us before, and understanding human behavior can be a huge advantage for you guys. I would like to ask this, just because I'm so curious about it, that how has your sociology and business background helped you in real estate?
Yeah, well, the business part of it pretty straightforward. So in terms of like when I was there, I applied a lot of my early on learnings into the business, and um but I would say like the sociology part was very indirectly helping me, which I didn't know early on. I think it helped me a lot with marketing, the sociology aspect. because it got me to understand the bigger value in things. It got me to understand how does a community and a society overall think of something, and how do they believe that something is of greater value, right? So like then I that kind of helped me apply a little bit of my knowledge, a little bit of my um marketing aspect into the business, and also just to have a conversation one to one, and to understand like, okay, who you are and how you are a product of something, right? So if you are and who you are a product of something, then therefore there are things that motivate you and there are things that demotivate you, right? For example, a lot of, let's say, if I'm working with first-time buyers, the biggest motivational factor for them is the pride of ownership. They want to have a home. They want to build a home here. They want to settle their family here. While working with investors, the biggest pride is not really getting a home. It's more like, hey, can this home make me money? Can this home make me, how can we exit out of this? What strategy can we use? So it's everybody has different reasons and everybody has different motivations. And so the sociology aspect part of it kind of taught me in the greater scale of things and macro things of how to understand the communities and how to understand people, and what actually hits right in the heart that works with marketing alongside.
Yeah, but you know that many young people today watch entrepreneurs and wonder how to start their own path. Actually, right now I'm 19. I've just turned 19. And I'm seriously thinking to build something from my own. I don't know what, but just I'm seriously thinking about that. And your journey from student to co-founder carries practical insight, you know? I would like to ask this also as a last question of our tonight's podcast, that what advice would you give to young people who want to build something of their own?
To put a point on what you just said, I think you kind of found a big thing of what you do. I think the fact that like you go out there and you get people to come and do a podcast with you and have a conversation with you, a genuine conversation, especially at this age of 19, I feel like that eagerness to go out there and do it and learn, and I feel like you're really in a good path here, because I know somebody else in social media that does it, and he goes around and just randomly in the on the street and starts interviewing these billionaires and gets this knowledge from them, and then puts it on social media. I'm sure, I think you know, right? So that, like that mindset and that, I feel like you're kind of moving into that, and I feel like there's a big section in that that you will of course do well. But I would say, like, just like you said it's a very competitive business. Real estate is a very competitive business. And when I started it, it was always, I always heard it. I always heard it from people close to me and people far away from me, and anybody that knew about business or anything with real estate was like, oh, I heard the stats. 80% of real estate agents fail within the first 2 years.
Wow.
80% of them. And then 90% of them from there on fails within the first 5 years. And my biggest driver was the mentality that you need to have in whatever you're doing. If you're passionate and you love what you do, it's the mentality you should have is like, even if the success rate is 1% out of 99, that is me. That's how I'm gonna move at it. And if it's that's not me today, then I will become that 1%. It doesn't matter. I will do it one day, but it will
Wow.
happen. That's the mentality you need to have, and you have to keep going. You have to keep going, and then so I set myself like these little goals. I was like, okay, they say I'm gonna fail in the first 2 years. 80% does. Let me see if I'm the top 20. Let's just focus on that. And then that's all I did. The first 2 years, all I focused on, I want to be top 20%. That's what happened. And then from there on, I was like, I want to be top 10%. And then that happened 4 years ago.
Wow.
And then now goal is to be top 5%, and we've hit that too.
Uh,
So it's like that's
Sorry
the
for
whole
interruption.
mental. Mhm.
It's top 5% only in Vancouver or in Canada?
In all of Canada.
Wow. Wow, man.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And that's a big achievement for big kudos for the team as well. Just not myself, but yeah.
Yeah, but as an Afghan, we are proud of you guys. Actually, we are proud of you guys. And thank you so much, dear Sarhadi, for joining and for this great conversation and for sharing your insights. And now, at the end, that if there's anything that I have missed, or if there's anything that you would like to share with your brother, with your sisters inside Afghanistan and outside Afghanistan, Mike is yours, man.
Oh, um, I would say like just be curious to what you do. If you really love what you do, you rather want to be the best at that than try to replicate or try to be somebody else. I think like that's a lot of us we waste our years going around and trying to copy and paste what other people do, and then we realize we don't have passion in it, and then we kind of give up on it, and that's where the years go. And so no matter what you do, I think if you do have the passion and you like doing what you're doing, then that curiosity in itself will always make you learn and will
For sure.
always make you grow. And then once you like what you do, give it all, man. Just go at it. Just head down, just keep going at it. Everything around you is temporary. Things will change. If you're a positive person, naturally you'll attract positive people. If you're an educated person, naturally around you, people with education will come. But if, on the other hand, if you're a negative person, then negative people will attract you because you talk like them, you move like them. So, and so the best
Wow.
quote I ever heard,
I really
I
love
still
it. I really love it, man. Thanks.
thank you.
That was great.
So the best quote I ever heard, and I always remember, I believe my dad told me this. It was like when you walk in a perfume store, right? And let's say you don't buy any perfume, and you come out of the end, what happens? You didn't even buy any perfume, but you come out smelling good.
That's
So
great.
the saying is
Wow.
surround yourself with good people, then naturally you will become a very good people.
Wow.
And then if you surround yourself with educated and good people, you'll turn out to be the same.
Actually, I have to write that quote on my book. Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Very welcome, man.
Hope to
You're very
have
welcome.
you. Hope to have you in future episode. Now, enjoy the rest of your day, man. Thank you so much.
Will do. I wish you do come to UBC, then we can go for some dinner and then
For
enjoy
sure.
some.
Why not? Why not? We will see, man.
Good.
Thank you so much once again.